In this video series, I'm going to show you how you can create your own autoresponder system using WordPress. The good thing about this is that it is totally free. There's absolutely no cost other than you're going to have a place to host it. So you're going to need a domain name and a hosting provider, but that's very inexpensive. And if you're doing web business, you need that anyway, and you probably already have it. The other thing is that this is friendly to shared hosting. With shared hosting, you're only allowed to send a certain number of emails per hour or per day or whatever their limits are. So with the autoresponder system we're going to build here, you'll be able to set throttling so that it'll only send out so many per time period that you specify. So you will stay within the terms of the shared hosting accounts, which will allow you to run your autoresponder on those shared hosting accounts without violating their terms. So that makes it a good way to get an autoresponder system going if you do not have the funds to use one of the big autoresponders, or you just want to have full control over your own autoresponder. Okay, now the first thing we need to do is install WordPress. And you can go to wordpress.org. You can download the WordPress files here and do a manual install. I've included a separate video that shows you how to do that. However, for this demo, I'm just going to use the fast way, which is to use Fantastico Deluxe to do the 2-click install, and then we'll get started with that. Okay, so right now I'm going to go to my control panel and I'm going to install WordPress with the 2-click installer. Okay, so if you have cPanel hosting, you can look and see if you have Fantastico Deluxe. If you do, you'll be able to do it this way. You may be able to do this from other hosting panels as well. Okay, so just click on that. Okay, and this brings you up to the main Fantastico menu here. And what you want to do is go to WordPress, so click on that. Now once you're in here, it shows you all the WordPress blogs that you have installed on your server using this method. But it won't show any that you installed manually. Okay, so let's do a new installation. So we click here. Okay, now it's very simple from here. You can pick your domain name out of the list. If you have several domains that are hosted on your one hosting account, you just use the drop down list here and pick the proper domain. If you only have one domain, of course, it's going to be right here. Now, since this is an autoresponder system, you're not going to want to put it in the root of your domain. Put it in a subdirectory somewhere. So all we do is fill in the install in directory here. So let's just call it autoresponder. Okay, now let's roll down a bit here. So your admin username, don't use admin. When somebody is trying to break into a WordPress blog, they use brute force attacks using the username admin. So use something else. Okay, then your password. Use a strong password here. Let's put a number behind it. So I got a strong password 8. Don't use that. I was just making the point that it has to be a strong password. Admin nickname. This is just the nickname that'll show up on any posts. So it doesn't matter. You can just put admin here, whatever you want. And then the email address here. This is the email address that will be the outgoing email address from your autoresponder. So this should be email address on your domain that you're using. So in this case, this is my domain name up here. So I would put admin at and then the domain name. Now make sure that you've set up an email account for that. So what you would do, let's open control panel in a new tab here. Okay, you'll see email accounts here, so click on that. And then here, set up the email account. So it's basically you put admin here, whatever you're going to use, your domain here, the password again, it'll tell you about the strength, how big you want it, and create account. So this is a basic cPanel email setup. Your email setup may look a little different, but just make sure that you've set up the email account. And as you see down here, I have this one set up already. Okay, so back here. So let's fill this out. Okay, site name. You can put in a site name and description here, and this can be changed later. So I'm just going to put my autoresponder. Now, you'd probably want to do something like your name or your company name, newsletter or something like that. Let's say my company newsletter. Okay, and then description, whatever you want here. Okay, and then we click Install WordPress, and then Finish Installation. And there it is. So now all we have to do is click here. Okay, so now we just log in with the username and password that we just used to set this up, and we can continue with the install of the plugins and everything else we need. And we're going to get to that in the next video.